Why do you think some people confuse the term conflict?
Because it has a lot of different definitions and people use it differently depending on the context. So you can say conflict and you can be talking about like a structural conflict. Is it a person versus society, a person versus, magic or whatever? That is more of a structural narrative style of how you're going to tell your story. That's one version of it. You also have your core conflict, which is, again, the point of the book. This is the reason why you're trying to solve this plot and fix whatever it is. It's, catching the killer. It's getting the two lovebirds together. It's stopping the world, stopping the evil wizard and saving the world. That's your core conflict. Then you have your individual scene conflicts, where what's the conflict in that scene that is going to make whatever the goal that your protagonist has harder to accomplish, and that's very different from a core conflict, because that conflict might be, how do we convince the bartender to give up the key to the room so we could sneak in and get the plans, and that's a completely different type of conflict. And then there's a lot of people who refer to conflict and it's almost interchangeable with tension. So they might say there's no conflict in this scene, or what they mean is there's no tension. There might be conflict. Conflict is there, but it's not actually affecting anything yet. Yes, there's an obstacle, but the obstacle is so easy to get over that there's no tension in it. So yes, there's conflict, but it's the tension that's not there. And they use it kind of interchangeably with that. Then there's the whole external conflict versus internal conflict thing. So a lot of times people refer to conflict and they're thinking more of an internal conflict, especially as it relates to a character arc, because it's like, oh, the conflict is the conflict of the character. What's their flaw? How are they growing? What's the character arc? So unless you know what context somebody is talking about, if they give you feedback or they talk about it, if they're thinking about an external conflict and you're thinking about a character arc conflict, there's going to be a big disconnect and there's going to be a lot of confusion. So I think that's where a lot of people struggle, especially new writers who are still learning their feet and still trying to figure out how to write and how all these various pieces work together. And yeah, so if you're looking at a different context of conflict, then you're going to be totally lost.